Welcome back, everyone. We now have a panel discussion on DevOps, Agile, and Cloud Computing, the three musketeers. This very interesting panel discussion will be moderated by Mr. Balaji TK, who is Vice President IT at Orange Retail Finance. And I'd like to welcome all our panelists for this panel discussion. Puneet Kaur Kohli, CIO and CTO at Universal Sompo General Insurance Company, Mr. Amit Saxena, Global Deputy CTO at Digital Bank, State Bank of India, Mr. Sharad Agrawal, Head IT, JK Tire and Industry, Lopamudra Basu, Advisor, Cloud Security Alliance, APEC Research Council, Nikhil Bandi, CIO, Vistar Financial Services, and Mr. Saurabh Jain, Director Technology Cloud Practice, Galaxy Office Automation Private Limited. I welcome all the panelists. I welcome the moderator, Mr. Balaji TK, and I once again welcome all our audience and delegates who are watching us live. With this, now I'd like to hand over this virtual mic to Mr. Balaji TK for the panel discussion. I request Mr. Balaji TK to moderate the session. Thank you so much.
Dear friends, myself Balaji TK. I'm 23 years of techno-functional expertise and representing Orange Retail Finance, a traditional digital non-banking finance company operating in South India. I'm welcoming everyone to this exciting and knowledge-enriching topic on DevOps, Agile, and Cloud Computing, the three mosquitoes. Along with me, I'm having eminent and most valuable 6 panelists who are from the various domains who have made their organization to scale vertically through strong and robust tech platform. The panelists are from insurance, manufacturing, NBFC, and consulting. Let's utilize the combined knowledge of 120 years of rich expertise available with this panelist. In this 60 minutes, we will discuss on DevOps, Agile, Cloud, and how it is helping organization to scale and to enable fail fast and success fast frameworks. I request everyone to pay attention, as somewhere you can catch some of the growth story you might be looking for. At first, I would like to welcome my first panelist, Mr. Nikhil Bandi, Chief Information Officer, Vistar Financial Services. Over to you, Mr. Nikhil.
Hello everyone. First of all, thanks to Elets for organizing this interesting panel. I represent the company Vistar Financial Services, which is an NBFC which caters to specific niche area, which is lending to small and medium enterprises. Vistar has been into this business for more than a decade, and I've been into technology, working with multiple companies within India, US, and Japan, and have got a flavor in financial services and the insurance banking domain for more than 2 decades. And I would definitely like to take this discussion forward in terms of all the enriching knowledge, which I will certainly try to share from my side, as well as be recipient to from other panelists who are from varied domains, not only just the BFSI, but many other domains in consulting.
Thank you very much, Nikhil. Thanks. Now I introduce my second panelist, Ms. Puneet Kaur Kohli, Chief Information Officer and Chief Technology Officer, Universal Sompo General Insurance Company. Over to you, Puneet. You are on mute.
Can you please repeat the question?
Not the question. You can just generally talk about how the organization is helping, like DevOps, Agile, and Cloud for you.
Okay, so when you talk about the enterprise transformation, definitely Agile and DevOps really plays a very big role. I think so encashment of this DevOps and Agile has really helped organizations like us, or my erstwhile organization where I was the CTO and CIO Manappuram Finance. So during the lockdown period as well, and today what it really enabled that faster rollouts rather than having a big bang approach, rather than following the waterfall method. Agile is something which is helping everybody today, because the digitization and this DevOps has happened, that it gives you a common control for developers or you talk about the quality testers, or even in the VAPT, a particular a same ecosystem which can try on cloud. Secondly, the rollouts which is in small distribution, like addressing to pain areas, rather than having a big bang approach. When we roll out agile approach, probably it becomes as a testing quality method for all of us, so that we are better richly, and we are well versed with what are the hiccups that we had to address when we do one launch. So it gives you that how we can address, and we don't repeat those mistakes when we do want to do a second kind of rollout. This is what agile and DevOps has happened, helped me out in my growth story.
Very nice. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Now I introduce Mr. Amit Saxena, Global Deputy Chief Technology Officer, Digital Banking State Bank of India. Over to you, Amit.
Yeah, thank you very much, Balaji. And so as what we have seen is that this DevOps and agile way of doing things and development itself, and the State Bank of India have taken a transformation journey few years earlier, wherein we have started building all our systems in a manner wherein all these technology stacks are being used. We have played around with the uh, open source also, as well as the license one. Having said that, what we look at that going forward, we are making a kind of a full stack kind of a development or using these technology. We'll talk about it as we move further forward. Thank you very much, Balaji.
Great. Thanks, sir. Thanks. So let's discuss about the open source and licensing. And Puneet was touching about the common controls, quality testers, ecosystem. Great insights are coming. Thanks. Now I want to introduce Mr. Sharath Agarwal, Head IT JK Ties. Over to you, Mr. Sharath.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji. So, we at JK. So, as very aptly named the Three Musketeers, whether you like it or don't like them, so you are working with them knowingly or unknowingly. Whether it was waterfall, which gradually translated to agile, and now DevOps is catching up, and whether you want or don't want, but you start using knowingly and unknowingly the cloud computing services. So let's see as the day unfolds, the session unfolds, to the interesting shares by the co-panelists. Thank you.
Great, Sharath. I like the knowing and unknowingly start using the cloud. Very nice. So I want to introduce my next panelist, Ms. Dr. Lopa Mundra Basu, Advisor, Cloud Security Alliance, APAC Research Council. Dr. Lopa Mundra Basu, veteran in cybersecurity with 2 decades of experience in different sectors that include automotive, BFSI, ITS, and manufacturing. She holds a master degree in information technology and Doctor of Excellence in Cyber Risk Management, along with required industry certification including Global CIO, CCISO, CRISC, Cyber Strategist, DevOps Engineer, and so on. A leadership role in Fortune 500 companies, awarded as most inspiring 10 digital tech leaders of India, Indian Achievers Awards 2020, India's top 20 security influencer on several levels, an international speaker who serves on various global advisory and judging committees. Shattering the glass ceiling, an advocate of women in cyber, she accepts challenges, mentoring, and working for improving the quality of cybersecurity and enterprise risk governance professional on the global stage. Over to you, Dr. Lopa.
Thank you, Balaji, and nice to connect you all. When it is coming to the Three Musketeers, that is DevOps, Agile, and Cloud, we are in the cyber age, and it is very much required technology, and they are moving hands on hands. Now, there is a perception that Agile is actually not working very well with the security, but it is in other way. Agile and security boosting each other. My cloud journey started around 2009, and there is lots of movement happened in terms of technology, in terms of how it is working with the different development life cycle. It starts with the agile and slowly move to the DevOps and then DevSecOps. Security starts shifting from right to left, and DevSecOps actually giving us a tremendous opportunity to introduce the security as a design and privacy as a design, also reduce the overburden of security at the end of the life cycle, which we had earlier with the waterfall model or some other basic model. So let's see that how this discussion going on, and accordingly we will again discuss those area how cloud and agile is actually helping us to boost the overall security portfolio of the organization and ensure better privacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lopa. Thanks for touching on agile DevOps, DevSec, and the design and privacy, like security and privacy by design. Certainly, we want to hear more from you. Now we'll go to my next speaker, Mr. Saurabh Jain, Director, Technology, Cloud Practice, Galaxy Office Automation Private Limited. Mr. Saurabh Jain, Director Technology, is Cloud Division of Galaxy, as well as expertise in and around technology landscape. He has worked with multiple customers across vertical, making the business grow by adapting futuristic technology. As a technology leader, he, along with his team of technical expertise, helps customers walk through an IT business transformation journey, building a trusted advisor position. Over to you, Saurabh.
Hey, thank you, Balaji. Thank you, everybody who is here. I hope I'm not on mute. Yeah. So thank you for the insightful details about each and everyone and how we are talking about the three musketeer, which is agile, DevOps, and cloud computing. So I would definitely want to add one more pillar to this is how everybody is trying to bring the cloud on premise, right? That is something which is today a reality, or in fact, if you see, nobody is talking about a pure play cloud. There is a flavor which is called as hybrid cloud, right? And believe me, there are organizations who are looking at an option that how they can bring up that cloud-like feel which is available on public cloud to on-premise. Okay, and that's where we as an organization we are dealing with those organizations who are who are part of basically giving that journey to the customer, like customers like all of you, who can think of and as I think Sharad has mentioned that knowingly or unknowingly they need to use cloud, right? Now, whether it is a private cloud, whether it is a private public cloud or a hybrid cloud, and running those different technologies or the methodologies, which is agile, DevOps, how you can leverage those is something which we need to understand. And as the panel discussion progresses, we'll get to know a lot about it. So I'm actually like to hear a lot of from you, and obviously I'll give my perspective as well that how things are progressing. So thank you. Over to you, Balaji.
DevOps, Agile, why cloud, DevOps, and what are the advantages on taking to clouds and all. Okay. I would like to ask Puneet, what is the difference between DevOps and Agile, and how it is critical for your domain? Puneet, can you repeat it? You are on mute. Can you unmute and talk, please?
Yeah, I'm unmuting. Hello.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thanks so much. Actually, we just start speaking and suddenly we realize that we have to unmute. Yeah, so as I have already shared in my last perspective, Agile and DevOps, the environment you talk about, when you talk about agile approach, so in my development life cycle, what are the observations what I have seen when we get the requirement from the business stakeholders in terms of having a common stake, where you have to do some kind of the business pain areas have to be addressed, or there are certain rollouts which are backend has to be hosted on cloud, and it has to be given 24 hours or 48 hours from the business. They say that you have to have a go to market readiness. So under such circumstances, the agile approach really works wonders, right? And in terms of understanding the DevOps section, what I have seen is that when we do a quality assurance, we do the UAT testing, the business stake. It's not only about IT which works on the DevOps. Even the business stakeholders, also show interest in understanding, the UAT life cycle is like something which came from 48 hours to 72 hours. The turnaround time is faster because business also understands that now we cannot blame IT that that the UAT is not happening, or they are taking big time in terms of rollouts. So such kind of things which create a visual which is, anybody can say it's a 360 degree of a development life cycle. What I can say, you can do the same management under various operations on one single window. This is what has transformed, and it plays a very big role where the companies are moving in terms of enterprise transformations. My friend from State Bank of India said that we are moving on to enterprise transformations, and we have shared in the past also some of the major advantages which it brings, and the security which even Lopa Mudra pointed out, the secure dev security operations, that also can be handled simultaneously. We cannot say that 4 days to 6 days, and the VAPT or the penetration testing is taking so much of time. So everything can be done in a proper plan and a pilot setting. When the pilot is successful, the rollout can be faster, and it can be it's a transformation altogether, what we should say. And everybody is, I think so, is gearing up for that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the few takeaways for me is a kind of a go-to-market strategy, like when using this agile and DevOps, like it's almost kind of a near real time we are achieving with the agile DevOps kind of quality assurance environment. 360 degree, it's a very good eye opening. I think it will be beneficial for all the users who are listening to this. Thank you very much. I will move to Mr. Amit Saxena. I would like to know how Agile has helped in digital banking for the largest bank in India.
Right. So, Balaji, what happened? Agile is something not what we are practicing in technology, but we have started practicing it in day-to-day operation also. So what happened? A lot of people have got a pre-notion about being the largest bank of the country, which have got kind of 760 million account, 451 million customer. That and this is a kind of a sense what they are getting it from different interaction. What we have started doing, that we have built in a technology stack for all these new kind of DevOps kind of a thing. So for a continuous CI/CD, we have got Jenkins. For testing, you have got Selenium, you have got multiple product line which we are using. So what we have done, we have developed the end-to-end kind of a DevOps model which is being used continuously, right? So what happens is that it helps you uh, in doing a time to market. Also, it helps us in doing a testing itself. So what happens? Maybe the kind of extensive testing which is needed for launching a product, so that the number of complaints which came in, because we have got so many different type of accounts which people are using, and I'm only not only talking about from a retail perspective, I'm talking it from a corporate perspective also, right? So the number of product codes for different account type which we have. So and if they are using the same journey and a problem occur, then it gives not a good customer experience. So you have to do that kind of a kind of a 500 test cases batch which needs to run on all the all the journeys which have to go live. But still what we have seen, there's a course of improvement what we are trying to do. The other thing what we have also done is that when we are trying to So one part is doing the development of a team. The other part is how you are to increase the so in the number of kind of there's some background noise. So I'm so sorry, sir, if people. So so what happens? What we have also seen that if you have to during festival time, the number of people who are interacting with the bank increases, and at that time, if we have to kind of increase the number of VMs on which whole of this system, then how you should be able to do it on the go itself, which means that you have to, and um, one of the core have touched upon DevSecOps or something, because you have to give a new VM, you have to complete the VAPT, etc. for them. So both of these are combined together, and what we are kind of building. It's not perfected as of today, but we have come itself in trying to kind of standardize this. So the part of standardization is done. There's a lot of rationalization. Um, Balaji. Okay. So what we are saying is that that also what we have done, that we have done the standardization of all our processes. There's a there's a need of doing a rationalization of this process. So we are going to do the standardization is completed. Rationalization we are moving forward to, and also what we are trying to do is we have included the analytics in all the journeys, which can be done, which can be can be driven through an analytics engine in place of people. We are taking input from our customers. Just to give you an example, say a lot of data points which are already available with the bank, the name of a customer, address of a customer, PAN card. You do not need all these things need to be kind of requested from a customer one more time for whichever journey, whether it's because earlier all banks have got a diverse system. So they have got a loan origination system which was different from their CBS system, and then they have to do an integration with a lot of other systems. Now most of the banks have done it. We have done an integration long time back, but now what we have done a standardization also. So to know about your history, to know about which type of a loans you may be interested into giving your spend pattern, etc. That's an example of an analytics engine which is running behind the scene itself. Thank you very much, Balaji. Balaji, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Amit. Thank you. It's quite interesting to know the massiveness of the State Bank of India with operating 17 million accounts and doing a 500 test cases, and how the already the data are getting exponential, and how we're standardizing the entire operation, and how the analytics is helping in type of loan spend patterns. Quite interesting to know. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to go to Sharath Agarwal. I would like to understand how cloud embraces the business growth for your domain.
Yeah, that's thank you, Balaji. That's an interesting question. So as I said that we started, so the word cloud probably came a bit later. We started using mail services in that format about 10, 12 years back in a cloud offering format. But it was thought to be more of a private cloud then. So as a business, what we see is, so we have sort of categorized applications. Some are ERPs, enterprise grade applications which are required. So we have moved them to a private cloud, or rather a co-located model. So, and then there are partner applications which are for our dealers, distributors, influencers, suppliers, vendors. So all of that we are keeping on cloud. So for a simple reason, as Puneet also mentioned, that there may be a need to scale them up at any point in time. So we may be having 1,000 users today, but assume that I need all of them to be for some GST compliance or something. I need all of them to be onboarded on a single day or to be concurrently using the platform. So that won't be physically possible to do it in a on-prem hardware. So there the cloud kicks in, and then there are other applications which are required only once a month. There are some training exercises, some model training, some AI ML models which need to be used as a service. So we can use it once a month, pay it for that time only, and instead of building everything, so it has become started becoming a cost effective in these sort of applications. But still, I feel for larger applications like the ERPs, the applications have to become real automated pay per use. What I'm trying to say is that it shall not be that I have to turn on or off the instance. It shall be actually based on the usage. It shall be it shall be able to go up and down as per the requirement, and the charges shall be allocated accordingly. So, but from a manufacturing, we are from manufacturing community, so we move a bit conventionally, but still we have started adopting cloud to a large extent. But I won't say 100%, but various flavors of cloud we have moved. So that's the journey that we have been working on. Thank you.
Very nice, Shadow, very nice. Like you started kind of embracing the cloud. Nice to know, like you are with a kind of own data center and a co-location model, and then hosted in cloud. So you're having combination of everything and doing like cost effective. It's quite interesting to know. Thank you very much for your views. I would like to go to now Dr. Bappa. Uh, Cloud means there are a lot of inherent security. We keep discussing on a security framework, how to be safeguarded everything. Since you are being a security expert, can you let us know for cloud why the security is paramount important? How to play it with ease?
So, very, very interesting question, Balaji. When we look at cloud journey, right? Cloud is not a destination, it's a journey throughout the life cycle. And there is a strategy behind cloud. It is not just a cost cutting, it's actually scalability, portability, and increasing the business efficiency. Equally, it is going to help to increase the security and compliance. The reason is every company is not in the core IT business, and having a very, very efficient security team and the tools could be a overhead on the company sometime. So you can maintain a very effective security portfolio if you are able to onboard the cloud very efficiently and very strategically. First thing, when we are taking anything in the cloud, why I'm taking that? What data I'm going to take on the cloud? Is that data is having any business sensitive information? Because most of the time we are focusing on the compliance, right? Is data is covered under the compliance. Think about if your R&D data leak out, or your some critical business data actually got breached, that is having a huge impact on you. So your business critical data or business sensitive data, and the personally identifiable data, and some data which are covered under some law. That is we need to understand first. Second thing is, when we are choosing the cloud based on this activity, we need to choose that cloud. Cloud could be a platform as a, if we go by the basic stuff, a platform as a service, or software as a service, or hardware as a service, or any application as a service. So what is that we are taking, as well as what data we are going to move, and when cloud is going to take a backup, where that data is going. That is very important. Now, coming to the security, most of the cases, the challenging stuff is you have a set of security requirement within your on-prem. And we are used to with that. When we are migrating to the cloud or transforming into the cloud, we need to look at the security control objective, not at the control. What is the control objective? What we are achieving out of that control? And go back to the clouds to see that is there any control which is helping us to actually provide the same objective or achieve the same objective. Because cloud control and the on-prem control may not be exactly same control. We would not be able to replicate. We can only achieve the objective. So that is very important. Third thing is that how we are deploying the cloud. Cloud is scalability, portability, right? How we are effectively using that without any overhead to the business, that is very important. So design the by bringing security and privacy in the design phase itself. Very important thing in cloud is, how the lateral movement of data is happening, and also how we are controlling those data. Access control is very important, and cloud actually provide us a very granular access control compared to our on-prem, because we can use the microsegmentation very effectively in cloud to control the data flow as well as access. Also monitoring who is actually having access from which surface. You have a privileged access. Who are your external parties accessing the data? Who are your partner, from where they are connecting? So a cloud is not actually only a responsibility of the cloud who is hosting also. So when we are actually onboarding a cloud, we get a very nicely documented roles and responsibility document, where a cloud provider very clearly says that this is my responsibility, this is a shared responsibility, this is your responsibility. So look at that, what is their responsibility that help you to achieve your control, which is aligned with them. Secondly, what application you are actually hosting within your control, or whatever you are hosting, which is coming under your full responsibility or shared responsibility, focus on that area. Sometimes cloud declare that we are SOC compliant cloud, or we are a PCI compliant cloud, but that is only compliant from a responsibility which lies with them, not something with you completely or partly. So generally, if we look at the compliance part of the cloud or security part of the cloud, we need to get this audited from both the perspective, combine them together, then only we can say this is a secure cloud or it's a compliant cloud. So that is one missing concept or challenging factor in the industry, that understanding. Because sometimes we say that, hey, I need a PCI, I have a PCI requirement. Is your cloud PCI compliant? Cloud provider may say, yes, I'm PCI compliant. We immediately onboard that and send everything. But the challenge is PCI compliant partly, which is with them. And now coming to the scalability part, right? It's easy scalable. Its portability is very high. Accessibility, within a twinkling of eye, you can change it. So considering that, how do you ensure that your data is not moving anywhere else while they are also taking the backup? So cloud contract is very critical, or cloud contract play a very critical role in cloud security. Now coming to the agile and DevOps part, right? It's giving us a very good it helps us to take a very good access over the overall portfolio of the cloud and help us to put a proper governance. Because when you are creating each of the storyboard, right, first of all, ensure that your developers are knowing the basic security requirements and why this is required. Unless until they know that why it is required, it's a human tendency, people will not go by that rule. So why it is required, then train them how to implement it, and ensure that they are actually incorporating the security need and the privacy need in their storyboard. And while they're checking the functional aspect of the module, your security testing is done along with that. When it is coming to the code review, we need to ensure that code review outcome logged in some of the tool like Jira or whatever they are using, and that in turn connected with your governance platform. So there is no delay of report movement. Only thing which is exclusively going to sit with the security is your vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. But if we are taking care of good coding practice and giving those report before they are going for the release and that this is their responsibility. In agile team or DevSecOps team, we know that everybody is responsible for everything related to that particular area of development. Same way, need to make them understand you are also responsible equally for the security, privacy, and compliance, and accordingly help them to deliver it. Yes, from governance perspective, we need to continuously do the sampling and testing. Wherever we feel that there is a gap, we need to go back and give the training to them based on our learning on those loophole. And then slowly, if we are able to stop this area, that gap, reduce that gap or sink that gap, it will help us to reduce the number of vulnerability. And that is going to reduce the friction between IT and business. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a complete detail you've given us how security need to be managed in the cloud environment. Thank you very much for this detailing everything, like what it's a kind of a journey where we need to do what all integrities we need to take even to complete granular level. Thank you very much. It will be certainly helpful for all the friends who are watching this. Thank you very much. Now I go to Mr. Nikhil Bandi.
Balaji, he had some important work. Seems that he has moved out of the discussion.
Just to add to a point, what Dr. Lopa have touched upon, and it's one of a very important point with respect to know about the how the cloud is to be managed, and even when the cloud provider is saying that they are PCI DSS compliant, and how the organizations have to understand, and that's a great learning which I believe uh, all the listeners who would understand that point, because most of the time, and this we have seen, that the type of confusion which are are people having within their mind itself, how to onboard their organization onto a cloud, what are the needs of a security aspect which needs to be seen through and talk through, and first of all, as very well put by Dr. Lopa, is with respect to what do you need it from a security aspect, and how the horizontal data movement is to be put onto a cloud itself. So very good point, Dr. Lopa, which you have touched upon. I believe the experts like your voice should be propagated across the industry, so that most of the industry comes in terms of kind of understanding and learning what they have to. Otherwise, everybody will go through a different learning curve itself. And I believe this is a very good opportunity, and what you have talked about.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, well said. Like touching on compliance, governance, everything, and on the
I guess you have gone on mute, Balaji.
sorry, I'm having some disturbance in the connectivity. Thank you. Thank you. I'll go to Saurabh Jain. I would like to understand why there's a sudden spike in the organization, um, why there's a lot of migration or happening from the cloud DevOps stacks to cloud immediately. What is the reason for the sudden spike right now?
Hey, thank you, Balaji, for that question. In fact, that's a very critical question nowadays, that we are seeing, that we are looking at, various organizations. In fact, all the esteemed guests that we have. So, just to understand, why there is a sudden spike of, moving off the DevOps stack to the cloud, is we need to understand what are the typical challenges that are being faced by the organizations who are having development houses and who are working around those development pieces, right? So the very first thing that we have seen is how faster are you able to deploy things, right? When you are running or when you are trying to run something on your own, right? Second piece is how much automation you can bring to the table, right? And if you even if you are bringing the automation piece, how much time it is taking? Is it readily available, or is it a sound science project, right? Something which is already available somewhere, rather than reinventing the wheel, you want to leverage that, right? The third piece is orchestration, right? Because as we have discussed all this while, is how agile DevOps is playing together, right? And they can work in tandem. How they sure that the deployment or the development happens, I would say very seamlessly, right? To achieve that, you need to have an orchestration engine which works like a real orchestra, like a real orchestrator, right? So these are the 3 or 4 points, which needs an answer, even if you are considering on-premise, or even if you are considering, the local data center or your own data centers, right? Now, if I talk about what are the advantages that a cloud has, and that's where I was reading an article which mentions that it is I'm sorry, the DevOps and cloud are match made in happen, right? So basically it's like they are made for each other. And the reason is very simple. All those issues of the on-premise thing, all those issues of a developer face. I can give an example. My spouse, she's a developer herself, and I can understand that recently they have started onto this journey of agile, because that's where that you can think of as the end user, right? You can give faster deliverables to the customers, right? Rather than doing something on and on again and again. This is something which can give a faster response to the customer queries, customer requirements. And that's where, if you see why cloud is something which is I would say the first choice for those houses, is basically the very first thing is easily available automation. Because the automation piece is something which is there. You just need to start using it, right? You don't need to think twice to basically, from the learning curve point of view also, if a person knows a bit of cloud, he can start using it right away. And even for those platform as a service use cases as well, right? The second piece, as I talked about, the orchestration or the deployment time, right? The deployment time is available like this, right? You blink your eyes and you have a new server, new capabilities available at your perusal or at your disposal, right? Uh, the third thing which is there is an orchestration. When you have a team of developers as well as the operation guys working together, the biggest issue was, how do I make sure that they work together, right? And that's where the kind of orchestration which is available, and not only the orchestration, but how automatically you are doing that orchestration, is something which is making things very easier for the organizations. And it is again leading to, as Dr. Lopa has mentioned, that it is about the time to market. It is about or go to market, right? How fast you are able to go to market, so that whatever your business idea is, you are able to sort of start rolling it out for the customers or for your end customers, right? The last piece that is giving again DevOps and cloud an important thing is the monitoring piece. How you are monitoring your infrastructure. Let's say if there is a requirement, if there is a sudden spike, and as Mr. Amit has mentioned, that in case of the festivities and as we know, India is a country of festivals, right? Every other day there is a festival, so you always need to have that, be ready for that spike, right? Yeah, to make sure that users are happy. And that's where, from the monitoring point of view, and how you are basically leveraging that monitoring to basically spin up new infrastructure, new services. And that's where a DevOps and cloud, it is a journey which would go for long. I don't see any challenges in that. There are organizations who have maybe started now, but there are organizations who understood this, and they are already on the path of that piece. So that's from my side. I hope that makes sense, and
Yes.
maybe other delegates can talk about more on this. So comments.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Like you touched on this cloud orchestration and how this DevOps and cloud journeys is helping. Certainly, yeah. I think we have only a few more minutes. The two takeaways from me is from all this panelist are the technology is a competitive advantage. And the next is we're waiting for like all signals to turn to green. We can't start the journey. So start the journey and keep moving. So that's the two takeaways from me. Final points. What we can discuss is everyone can take 1 minute and discuss on how this agile and DevOps or real-time development and deployment enabled by cloud or transforming the organization. I can go to Puneet right now. Puneet, from the standpoint, just for 1 minute, you can just give a wrap up.
You are on mute, Puneet, again.
I said I could not hear you. Question.
Fine. So you can do a wrap up for 1 minute to tell like how this agile and DevOps on real-time development and deployment are enabled by cloud or transforming the organization. Can you hear me? Hello.
I think there is lots of background noise.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a lot of background noise. I could not hear twice what you said.
I'm audible right now? Okay, done.
Now it's better.
You can wrap up on taking this 1 minute on how agile and DevOps are helping the organization on a real-time development and deployment, and how it is enabled by cloud.
So, agile and DevOps operations definitely, with all the insights that we would like to bring. Organizations has already geared up for it. And the few takeaways which I concur with the Lopamudra is definitely in terms of one, that the agreements, while we are moving on to a cloud, is a journey. The person, when we onboard a cloud, we should be very well aware that what kind of cloud we are onboarding, which application we should be ready to move on to the cloud, whether it is a customer facing or it is an internal facing, what kind of data we would like to take it on the cloud. Supposing if it is in terms of in the financial services sector, we have a governance and the compliance structure. So the consolidation at the cloud, or you can say the new wave of cloud, where we say that go to market is stronger and everything, but compliance is one angle. We have to be very ruthless about it. So the journey where we want to see if we are giving some B2C or B2B kind of applications working on the cloud, end user experience really matters a lot. But at the same time, we have to see as the security and governance are in place. The customer data should be very much, sacrosanct. It should be, whether in the encrypted form, that should have a comfort level from an, security point of view, basically. Then on that, in case we are putting up those journeys, and it is not about that just entire world is moving towards journey, we also have to move on to this journey. We have to see that our organizations are geared up to take this transformation or not. So it is an equal giving, where small awareness programs have to be set up along with it has to be with the convergence of a CTO, CIO, and probably a journey of the CISO together, where an awareness has to be spread that what we could handle through on-premise, what we can handle through the development team. First is the development team has to get geared up, and whether organization has that culture also to adapt. So it can be a small rollouts, pilot projects, and all that stuff, which might give a confidence level to the core team that yes, we are ready and we are geared up. Then a big bang approach will really help us out. So
Great,
that's
great, great.
the call that we'll have to take.
Thanks, Apurni. Thanks. It was quite awesome. Like you wrapped it up very nicely. I go to Amit. Amit, can you wrap up your points?
Yeah, so as we have said that we are working a bit differently from trying to, we are in no hurry to go to a cloud. We have got a mandate to go to a cloud, right? So we have got a private cloud. But what we are trying to do internally, first of all, is here we go to a cloud itself. As I touched upon 2 points, the standardization and rationalization of the services, as well as the architecture itself, which we have more or less done itself, right? So give or take another 2 quarters where we would be able to go onto cloud. But what we are looking at from an aspect that we are a very big perpetuator and propagator of that of open banking standards to be adopted itself. What we are saying, we are building up a hybrid microservices architecture model, which we should be ready to give it to the world itself, which should be used for providing the banking services or use the banking services as provided by SBI. So the other banks and should also open up their services, and there should be an amalgamation with respect to the NBFCs as SMEs customer, as well as the insurance sector, because these three, if they work together, we would be able to give a single point of a service to any customer, and he can be onboarded from, because SBI does not believe in any competition itself. We are number one. We do not have any competition in the country itself. And what we are looking at to give an end-to-end kind of services to all our customers. That's what we are working upon. And there, in the concept of using a cloud and how we can do it, we have got a mandate given by the board wherein we should be able to do. We have done a lot of stuff over there. But at the end of the day, we are looking towards that by the end of next year, you would be, or we should be able to provide that kind of a single platform to all our customers within the country. So thank you very much, Balaji.
Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Like you touched on this open banking and the projects you are working with open project. Quite interesting, and we're looking forward for it. Thank you very much. I'll move to Dr. Loka. Dr. Loka, can summarize, please?
Sure. When it is coming to the cloud, we need to consider it as a journey, and it's a business portfolio altogether. So how businesses starting any new, when they start a new wings, they do the thorough risk assessment and then they move forward. Start from a particular risk assessment, align the outcome with the business risk portfolio, and then take the journey forward. Ensure the security by design. User experience is the key to drive the business. But remember, if due to a security breakdown, there is a brand impact, you are going to lose the entire end user base.
Thank you.
So that trust needs to be established. And now, more importantly, security is a ballgame, striking the balance, right? Somebody is having some technology, I don't require to adopt it. It is my business need. Same way, what you need, it is completely depends on the business requirement, but ensure you have a very, very effective monitoring process in place. And if you are able to achieve the security, you are automatically going to land up to compliance. But you are trying to achieve the compliance, you are going to face a big time pain. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lofan, touching on this compliance and security pieces and how it is impacting on the brand value. Thank you very much. Sharath, over to you, Sharath. Can summarize, please?
No, all the important points have already been summarized by our esteemed panelists. What I'd like to say that end game of any organization is to reduce the time of delivery of the product, of the digital product to the end user, be it a customer, internal, external. So cloud is an enabler because we have got the infra in form of PaaS, SaaS, IaaS, whatsoever, readily available. And what we shall see is that the two musketeers, the agile and the DevOps, they complement each other, because Agile focuses more on testing and DevOps focuses more on bringing the development and ops team together. So we shall look, and rather, because Agile has been around for a longer time and DevOps is a new technology, new process, I would say, new way. So we are getting used to it. We will soon find a way which will be amalgamation of both DevOps and Agile. And of course, what Dr. Lopa has been saying repeatedly, the security, DevOps security has to be amalgamated. Means security has to be there without naming it. It shall become so seamless. So that's my summarization for it. Thank you everyone for the nice inputs.
Thank you, Sharad, for summarizing it. Like, touch base nice, like how to reduce the go-to-market by using this DevOps and Agile. Thank you very much. Saurabh, can you summarize, please?
Yeah, thank you, Balaji. So I think, as Sharad has mentioned, almost everything is being covered out here. Everybody has talked about the security aspect, the go-to-market aspect, and as Mr. Amit has mentioned, that it is more of and it's a journey which takes time, and it needs to be completely vetted before you think of moving something to cloud with all the security aspects, as Dr. Lopa has mentioned. So, but yes, knowingly or unknowingly, you need to have this journey. So that's the word from Mr. Sharad Agrawal. So he's right, because these are the technologies which has over a period of time, like agile is almost like a 20-year-old technology. So obviously there would be something coming up which would basically would be a successor of agile. And DevOps, in a way, is touching that area. It would, somewhere there would be a lot of new feature set which would be, or new what you call it, principle which would be coming up, which would have a mix or amalgamation of both of these technology, which may be called as something, right? So that's where I would like to rest it. And obviously, a lot of inputs from the industry veterans, I would say, and this is a great learning, I would say, for us all to understand how the peers are doing, and how they are looking at the various technologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. Thank you very much. Thanks for spending time on this, discussing on this DevOps, Agile, and cloud computing. It was a wonderful panelist. I think everyone would have a huge takeaways from here. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
And
thank you,
have a
Balaji,
great-
for moderating it so nicely. Thank you from all of us.
Thanks, Sharad.
Thank
Thanks, Amrita. Thanks, Puneet. Thanks, Saurabh. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
bye.
Wow, amazing session we had, and thanks to Balaji TK for moderating this session so beautifully. Mr. Balaji TK, Vice President IT Orange Retail Finance. I thank all our panelists, Mr. Puneet Kaur Kohli, Amit Saxena, Mr. Sharad Agrawal, Lopamudra Basu, Nikhil Bandi, and Saurabh Jain for participating in this panel discussion today. I hope all the delegates must have enjoyed this conversation. It was a significant one indeed. And once again, on behalf of the Banking and Finance Post magazine, would like to thank the moderator and all our panelists for participating in this panel discussion. Thank you so much. We will now break here for a networking break. And I would encourage everyone to please visit the exhibition area as well. Thank you so much.